Yo, yo, music night, Friday night. Daily Go Get 'Emism show all up in your area. How y'all feeling tonight, man? Getting to Friday. I know I said this last Friday, but I mean it more this. No, last week was rougher than this week, but this week had its own set of circumstances, and it's time for us to have some fun, unwind. We're gonna talk about what we're gonna talk about tonight. Y'all know on the Daily Go Get 'Emism show, Friday night, that's our music night. Tonight, we're gonna be talking about rehashing that old Boyz II Men versus Jodeci debate. Rehashing that old Jodeci versus Boyz II Men debate. Hey, listen, who you with? Who you got? Who you rolling with? Who did you have back in the day? Are your views about the topic any different now than they were back in 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, and 1995? There wasn't really a 1996 for Jodeci. The last album that they really did of any importance was The Show, The After Party, and The Hotel. And it's a dope album. Now, people claim that the album before then wasn't that good. Diary of a Mad Band. What was it? I think it was Diary of a Mad Band. And didn't Mint Condition turn around and make the same, like an album with the same name or something like that, close to it? But I don't think you could ever mismatch Jodeci and Mint Condition. I wouldn't pit those two up against each other. But people were constantly comparing Boyz II Men to Jodeci. Both of them had their accolades in their own right. Both of them had millions of fans. Both of those groups were extremely successful. Extremely successful. But one of them has to reign victorious. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to have this conversation about Boyz II Men versus Jodeci and see if the facts line up with the feelings. See if the facts line up with the feelings, because I feel like Jodeci might be the more playable on your playlist type of group. Whereas Boyz II Men might be more playable in the world's playlist. They sold more albums than any other R&B group. So success is not an argument when it comes to Boyz II Men. They sold more. They are still the highest selling R&B group ever. Bust that. Ever? Like, you think about some of the R&B groups that have been successful out here. You think about a Drew Hill, can't touch Boyz II Men. You think about a 112, can't touch Boyz II Men. You think about a Blackstreet or a Guy, not even close. Not even close. Boyz II Men, even if you think about TLC is the highest selling women's R&B group. And sometimes I wonder, was TLC R&B or were they more pop? What would you say? TLC, pop or R&B? I think they had the elements of both. And that's probably why they sold so many records. Boyz II Men sold the most out of anybody. So no matter how far back you go, Earth, Wind and Fire, Parliament, Funkadelic, The Temptations, Four Tops, all of them, they sold more than all of them. Hands down. You would say TLC was more pop. Y'all would say, okay. Also, Jodeci, fan of her. fan of Diary of a... Hey, I thought their second album, I thought that was their best album. Jodeci really made 3 albums in succession. And then later on, you know, they broke up, and then it was just KC and JoJo, and they had success. They definitely had success, you know. But you know, they were wayward. You know, those two can't be unattended. They're gonna drink, smoke, and drug themselves to death. You know what I mean? Shout out to KC and JoJo. But you know, they were troubled. They was troubled, man. Them bad kids. They need management. Make sure y'all hit the like button. I need management too. Hit the like button, please, please. But yeah, Jodeci did make an album, like they came back together and did an album, I think like 2016. It was actually a pretty good album, but you know, taking that much time off, and you know, Jodeci was known. One of the things that they were known for was they had the sexy lyrics. Boyz II Men had the love lyrics. Jodeci had the sexy lyrics. The sexy lyrics. Plus, you know, they had the thug appeal and all of that, the shirt off, the baggy jeans, the leather and all of that. I mean, they was fly. They was fly. You know what I mean? Boyz II Men, I don't think anybody ever wanted to dress like Boyz II Men. Alexander Vanderpool era or something. What the hell? The only thing I ever saw Boyz II Men wear that I liked was those shearling coats that they had on the first album. Other than that, like, yeah, that ain't their thing. They can sing their asses off, though. They can sing their asses off, though, and they had good records. But did they have better records than Jodeci? Well, we gonna see, man. We gonna have us some fun tonight. We gonna rehash that old debate. Now, those of y'all who are of that era, whether you were a teenager, a young person, or in your 20s in the 90s, y'all know we had that debate all the time. Nah, Jodeci better than Boyz II Men. No, they not. Boyz II Men better than Jodeci. Boyz II Men better than everybody. The debate was real. But we didn't compare Jodeci to Kiara. What were those other groups at the time? Them. We wasn't comparing them to them. We was comparing them to Boyz II Men. We didn't compare Boyz II Men to Guy. Like, you know, back in those days, Teddy Riley couldn't keep a group together. He knew how to form a group, but he didn't know how to keep them together. He wouldn't pay nobody. He wouldn't pay nobody. He got paid, though. Let's see. Yeah, the first Boyz II Men album was dope. They kicked in the door with that. But remember, during the time that album was out, End of the Road came out. After the album. Well, during the time when the album was still selling. So, End of the Road was just a single. And that's what really, now y'all can dispute this, that's what really got Boyz II Men. When they dropped End of the Road, it was like, no. You know, the Motown Philly, you know what I mean? The New Jack Swing, Motown Philly, back again. Cold swing, Motown Philly going on. Not too soon, not too soon. You know. And then they did the cover of It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. And a lot of people didn't even know that they covered that song. All us old heads knew. Not all of us old heads, because I remember my boy, he was only a year younger than me. He was like, that's an old song? I was like, that's an old song. You mean to tell me you never saw Coolie High? Black card, give me your black card. Nigga, give that black nigga. You giving that black, you didn't see Coolie High? And you a black man? he went to Roman Catholic high school, so I had to excuse him. I'm like, oh, you think you white? All right, cool. He said, damn your ex Luke. Okay, hold on. I had the whole Jodeci catalog. My ex stole them. That's all right. You can get those 3 albums back. Plus the unplug. Plus the unplug. You can do it. You know what I mean? We in the internet age. You can listen to it tonight. Okay. Carrie said, Boyz II Men versus Jodeci was like rough sex versus making love. I mean, Boyz II Men always talked about making love. I'll make love to you like you want me to, and I'll hold you tight till me all through the night. I don't know. But the rest of the world loved that shit. I thought, I was like, He said, you listened to Boyz II Men when you were alone and wanted to apologize to your baby. I like the way this is going down already. I'm feeling this. This is good. Fan, what's that? Fanbo Podcast says Cooley High is a much watched movie. Yo, this is 1992. He never watched Cooley High. The man was 21 years old. Like, who was your brother? What kind of brother did you have that didn't? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I gotta answer phone. As they say, hey, yeah, hold on. Hold on, son. Hold on. You there?
Yes. Yo.
Yes. Yeah. We do, ayo. We do. What's good, son? What's good?
You know, I ain't gonna let you, I called it early because I don't want you to have all the fun with this one.
All right, good. I appreciate your hate. You know what I mean? Come fuck shit up.
And I do have some history lessons about this. You know what I mean?
Okay, hold on. Fanboy Podcast says, is he black from the suburbs because he ain't from the hood? He was from Philly, but he was from Mount Airy. And right there on the Mount Airy Cheltenham border, if you know anything about that. So, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I went to his house. Hold on. Kim called in. Hold on. All right.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Okay. Hold on, Kim. All right, we good. Levels is good. Levels is good. Levels is good. We good, y'all? All right, so we on. We good. Everything's straight. I can take my seat. We can go ahead and have this conversation. Y'all know what we talk about tonight. We rehashing that old Boyz II Men versus Jodeci. That debate. I know that you've had, if you grew up in the 90s, or if you were, young in the 90s, you had this debate. You know what I mean? People argued about this shit all the time. Take a sip of the 40. Boyz II Men better. Fuck out of here. Smoke the weed. Stupid motherfucker. You know goddamn well Jodeci be killing shit. You forever my lady, nigga. That's what I said to your mom. Forever my lady. You know what I mean? I told her you and I.
What's up, Chad? How you feeling?
They chat. Words from the eloquently beautiful sister said on the song with Kendrick. They chat.
All right, hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can get this thing. Let me see if I can get y'all a little bit louder.
Don't fuck this up, son.
I'm trying not to, man. I can't even say that there's no way I would. You know what I'm saying? All I can say is I'm a really, really try not to.
What's up, T. Carey? Right? Never wrong. Caller.
I think I did it. We good.
You did it right.
We good, baby. We good.
Damn.
We is straight. We are straight. All right. So we are here to rehash that old Jodeci versus Boyz II Men debate. Or should I say Boyz II Men versus Jodeci debate? I think Boyz II Men has to come first. I mean, the highest selling R&B group ever. They got to come first. You know what I mean? They got to come first. And they was the highest selling by the time their second album was finished. Who does that?
Yeah.
So they ain't have to sell shit after that, but they did.
You talking about Boyz II Men?
Yeah. They second album solidified them as the highest selling R&B group to this day. Huh?
Yeah. Okay, broke record.
Mm-hmm. That was 1995, 96. Thank you.
Well, one thing is for sure, it just depends on what the plan was.
Huh?
If you riding around in the car, then you're gonna listen to Boyz II Men.
You think so?
But if you've been out having some drinks, clubbing, having a good time, eating well, you're gonna go home and put on some Jodeci. That's what I know.
So, Boyz II Men had songs to ride to?
Hey, if we drag over to the parents' house, we ride down the street just in love. When we get home and the lights are off, or the lights are low, we listening to Jodeci.
So, you know, I would have never looked at it that way because Boyz II Men only had one fast song, and that was Motown Philly.
Yeah, true.
Okay, what was the other one?
Thank you. They did with what's his name, Craig Mack.
Okay. That song is not coming to me, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's cool. The thing is, Jodeci is not known for any of their fast songs. You know what I mean?
They had one fast. No, they had two fast songs
that they were known for.
Yeah.
What were they?
Get on up. You got to get on. What you say?
Would you consider that to be a fast song?
Get on up wasn't a fast song.
I mean,
it was a fast song.
Okay, if y'all say that's a fast song, like I guess it ain't fast enough to me. Like that's not to me. That's not a song that you dance to.
Get on up.
Get on up, kid.
You definitely dance to that.
That wasn't a slow song, son.
I didn't say it was a slow song. I just didn't think it was a fast song. Like a fast song, like I consider. Wait a minute. I consider like Motown Philly is actually a fast song. It's a dance song. You know.
In the video, Get On Up, they was dancing in that song. I mean, dancing in the video.
Okay.
Yeah, dance. You could dance to Get On Up.
That one, and they had I don't know. I think Casey and JoJo. I don't think Life. I think Life was just Casey and JoJo from the soundtrack Life.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
I think
Casey
that
and
was
JoJo.
Casey.
Wasn't no
Yeah.
Jodeci at that time.
So really, Jodeci only had like one fast song that was like really popping. That was a hit.
Get on up.
Yeah. And I think that was in the top 10 on the Billboard charts. Get on up and on the R&B.
Okay. So let's do it like this. What do y'all consider the lore? And in the chat, y'all can answer these questions too. We'll read them. What do you consider? What would you say the advantages of both groups are? Let's go. Let's do Boyz II Men first. Okay. Let's list their attributes. So what would y'all say were the attributes of Boyz II Men? What did they have going for them?
Well, I'm gonna let you go ahead first.
That backing of the church. I mean, they do how to harmonize.
Okay. Harmony. They definitely had that. Mm-hmm. So, and by harmony, I mean they they could go a cappella easily. That's not an easy thing to do. So they definitely had that.
Well, Boyz II Men were pretty much the understudies of Take Six. You know, because pretty much they could, like you said, they could do a cappella and Take Six. They did their homework, a lot of homework on Take Six when they were starting the group. Also, when it comes to Boyz II Men, all of them could sing. Whereas though everyone in Jodeci.
No, we're not doing Jodeci yet. Just list the.
Well, everybody in Boyz II Men could sing. Even though Mike only did the bass part, he was also a singer. You know, so Mike can sing, Sean can sing, Wanye can sing, and Nate can sing. You know, so I mean, other than that, I mean, you know, also they had great crossover appeal. The crossover appeal that Boyz II Men had was due to the fact that what Michael Bivins did was he dressed them the way he dressed them. So they could have crossover appeal. And the crossover appeal was able to allow them to get those posters put on white girls' walls. You know, whether it's
okay, but we just talking about their raw attributes. Let's stay there.
That's part of the raw. That's part of the raw attribute.
Okay, so
they also had that Motown influence, so they appealed to mid-age group. You know what I'm saying? Your parents could listen to them and be comfortable. Your grandparents would listen to them and comfortable.
Yeah, they had that MC Hammer effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they come from a gospel background. They have perfect studio quality.
Okay.
Control themselves in the live performance. That wasn't no issue ever. They just had a real polished kind of demeanor about them. So they worked.
Okay.
And they could touch on that heartfelt. They could pull on the heartstrings with that feeling of love and family and even grief. You know what I'm saying? They just had that whole nostalgia feel to them. So
okay. I would say some of the attributes were they definitely had synchronicity. You could tell that they practiced a lot. You know what I mean? Like they were very much in sync. They seemed to know exactly where each other were musically, harmonically, and I think another attribute was them like you said they had crossover appeal. Yeah, they played it safe. They played it safe. They made sure that they didn't cross the line. You know, so I think they fixed it so they could still be respected, but they could get played anywhere. Like no red flags.
right.
I definitely agree that each singer could probably do a solo thing. I'm not sure. I'll just leave it there. We can discuss that more in depth later. What up, Tom? What's good? And I could sense the hunger with Boyz II Men. You're like, they were definitely going for theirs. But I would say that they were more assertive than aggressive with their sound, with their aura. So those are just some of their attributes, and I'm not limiting those attributes to what any of us have said, because I think they probably have more. Let me see in the chat. Do they list any more? Let me see. Fanbo Podcast said Boyz II Men is the most commercially successful R&B group of all time, famous for their lush 4-part harmonies, a cappella arrangements, and emotional ballads. True. Okay, Tom says, of course, Boyz II Men, the group definitely takes 6. Okay. Boyz II Men made being romantic cool. Okay. Boyz II Men was relatable because of their harmony and their way of capturing the hearts of women. Okay, cool. So, okay, let's go to the attributes of Jodeci.
I mean, they too were gospel trained, like
They absolutely were.
Boyz II Men.
Mm-hmm.
But they were gritty. They brought some sensuality to hip hop. That culture a little bit. We had a little mix of it. They were rebellious. And it felt good to sing some Jodeci songs sometimes. Jodeci definitely made you feel like, I'm going to do some bad things.
Getting ready to do some bad things. Okay.
Now, they did have good stage presence when they were together, not because they had high energy. You know, they brought a lot of high energy to their performances. And when they were on, they were on. They had a way of coming together. They were emotionally toxic in their music, but it worked, if that makes sense. Like I said, it made you feel like you're going to do some bad things, but it felt good to get ready to do some bad things. Listening to Jodeci. So they were kind of unpredictable, but it wasn't to the point where you just didn't want to see them. Like they brought the attraction between the two genders. They definitely brought the attraction between the two genders, and that music felt like real love, if you want to call it that. They felt like what love, when you're young and stupid, felt like. So it was relatable. A little bit more than Boyz II Men at that time. So that's what I feel like about it.
Well, my take, you have the raspiness of KC, almost similar to Bobby Womack, and you had, and that was somewhat of a great thing, because it's it can bring forth an older audience, and that's all their music was pretty much for the older audience. You really don't want to play that around your mom and dad. Sometimes it was mainly for when you and your mate was together, or you just chilling out. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it was more, Jodeci is more of a thug love. I mean, both of them had their thing, but Jodeci was more of a, You know what I mean? I'm a straight to the point. Every time I close my eyes, I wake up feeling so horny. Yes, I do. We can all relate to that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when it comes to it, they were able to not so much cross over, but they were able to allow thugs to be able to speak their mind, and not feel like, so stuck up. They had to be angry. You know what I mean? It felt like if you was going through something with your girl, you can play a Jodeci song. She'd be like, oh yeah, he making up with me. You know what I mean? Whereas though Boyz II Men, too romantic. I ain't saying that shit to my girl. But Jodeci, you say some stuff to your girl. And don't get it twisted. With all that thug loving they had on their music, they had some banging ass love songs that can really go against Boyz II Men. You know what I mean? If you really look at some of these songs, But I mean, I guess there's more things to talk about when you talk about this.
Well, I think the attributes of Jodeci were relatability. They really benefited from the A&R direction of Puffy. No way around it. They would have never been what they were if it wasn't for if it wasn't for Puffy, because Puffy made them into like that thuggish, made them look like they was rappers that was singing, and they were real singers. So they had that, for that baggy shit that was going on, that baggy style that was going on, that that thug type of thing that was coming on. And we talk about 1991, 1992. So we talking about the early 90s. We not talking about once all that shit was solidified. This is way before Rockaware and all of that shit. This is the young 90s coming up out of the 80s. So I mean, I have to make sure that we keep that in mind, because once we update the era, it make it look like they were just doing what everybody else was doing. No, they pioneered this shit. So the look that Jodeci had, that energy that they brought was revolutionary. R&B groups were not doing that. They were not. You weren't going to see Keith Sweat or Alexander O'Neal or none of them doing what Jodeci was doing. They had the benefit of sex appeal. Wasn't nothing around it. I mean, wasn't no way around it. They had sex appeal. Like, they was turning the girls on and they was making the dudes want to do what they was doing, if they wasn't doing it already. So they also had the benefit, honestly, of better looks. One thing that let me just say, Devontae and Dalvin, it was what it was. They was bringing the women in. We didn't even know what the fuck they did, but it was them. The two dudes on stage singing was one thing, but it was them other dudes in the background, that was definitely an attraction. They had really good production. Devontae Swing is an extremely good producer. And he was producing a bunch of other groups, but you could see that he poured his heart and soul into Jodeci, and it was a winning formula. So I think, getting back to the relatability thing, Jodeci songs, it was like the hood. It was like, yeah, this really happened. You like Forever My Lady. So you're having my baby, and it means so much to me. You know, in the early 90s, there was still a lot of teenage pregnancy going on, a lot of promises being made and broken and all of that kind of shit. So a song like Forever My Lady really, really hit. Really, really hit. So they had that real life type of thing going on along with the begging that they was doing in their songs. So, and like I said, you know, Casey and JoJo could really blow. They could really sing. So, let me see what the chat says. Were their attributes? What we got? Señorita Ramirez, what's going on, Señorita Ramirez? Good to see you. All right. And Carrie said, Troy is saying that Jodeci made thugs admit that they had needs too. Okay. Tom says, so what are we saying here is that the group Boyz II Men are the good guys and you marry, and Jodeci are the bad boys that you tell your daughter to stay away from? Carrie says, 100 as son and rappers look, but singing. Okay. Devontae did a lot of production. Absolutely. Seka Sala, my man says Boyz II Men was the girl you bring home and meet your parents. Jodeci was the jump off. Tom says son Bobby Brown was doing what Jodeci was doing before Jodeci. Let's be honest. Yeah, but he's a solo act and they were a group. So I don't know if Bobby Brown was doing that when he was with New Edition, but and you have to give New Edition a lot of credit for spawning a lot of these groups. You know what I mean? And not just New Edition, but New Edition spawning off to BBD, because BBD was the first thugs of R&B. You know what I mean? Even though we knew better, but they sold it like a motherfucker and it worked. So, okay. Señorita Ramirez says they had good vocals. They were a good group and dressed nice as well. Okay, cool. So I think that there are way more attributes on both group side. But okay, so taking that into consideration, why do you think, what's your opinion of why people compared Jodeci to Boyz II Men at the time so heavily? Why do you think that was the go-to comparison or the go-to debate, if you think that it was? What would you say, Kim? What would you say, Troy? Tell you what, I'll go first.
You wanted me to go first?
I can go first, actually.
I always let him go first.
Well, okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
I think it's because first they were two of the most dominant black male groups at the time. They were heavy on the charts, all the charts, not just in our community, but all the charts. I think because both groups, they had a different take on the same topics. They both had a different take on love. They both had a different take on relationships. They both were great. They both had come from gospel backgrounds. Even though at the time it was still other groups like Shy, like Silk. But I think they represented two types of men, in my opinion. You're good, clean cut, boy next door, we've been friends for a long time, and now we are in love. Or they got messed with my family. My dad hates because he comes through the door bad boy intentions, and I like it.
Okay.
But they had the same, they came with the same energy in a sense, because you wasn't over here talking about fuck your mama, kill your mama's a bitch, I'ma kill it. Everybody, they wasn't talking like that. And neither was Boyz II Men. They both still came with clean music in a sense versus the rap and stuff that we were listening to at the time. I mean, they were both artists who fit into the genres easily without interruption. And they didn't fool around when they came into it. They both came to the game strong, powerful. And so, you know, it's not uncommon for us to pit two greats against each other. We do that often. So why not pit these two against each other? But the thing is, neither one of them answered to it. It wasn't a bunch of confusion, but they came with that. They just were both good. They were both great at what they were doing. So it was very difficult because I think everybody liked both of them together. But like for me, like I said, it just depends on what the day is, what the mood was. But they both brought the same kind of love, relationship, energy. And they both had great music. They both were talented groups. So, and they just hit at the right time. They came in and hit at the right time. And they both a lot of talented kind of umbrellas over them. So it was just hard not to. They both were great. And you wanted to, if you couldn't get them on the show together, you wanted to go to both shows.
Mm. I wonder if they ever did that.
They should have.
I never heard of them doing that, but I wonder.
Let me go on Google and see.
Well, my take on it is that it brought forth, both of them together brought forth a long tradition of black groups. You know, with the Temptations, Ozzy Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire. Even if you didn't have the musicians background of live music, it still brought back, it continued the tradition. Because if you look at today, there's not a tradition of black groups. You know, so it was able to do that, but they were also able to get the yin and the yang together. You know what I mean? Both, one of them was a yin, the other was a yang. You know, you was to put them both on the show, you could call it that, the yin and yang show of Boyz II Men and Jodeci. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think they were more competitive than wanting to work together back then. You know what I mean? I think they had respect for one another, but I don't think that they wanted to work together because there was a competition on which one was better than this one. Because everybody always said Jodeci. It's like you said Jodeci or Boyz II Men, just like you named the show. So back in the day, it was always Jodeci was this or Boyz II Men was that. You know, my take on the difference between Jodeci and Boyz II Men is always going to be that the crossover power of Boyz II Men in the households they were able to attain due to their appearances. Because Jodeci appearances would not allow them to go into every household. They allowed them to go into some households, but not every. That's why Boyz II Men was able to break records. Where so Jodeci couldn't compare with Boyz II Men on breaking records and having that longevity as Boyz II Men. You know.
Okay.
So let me answer the question. They did not tour together, nor have they ever performed together. And basically it says the labels intentionally, their branding was intentionally different. And the people with the pockets purposely made sure they were rivals.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That sounds about right. Especially at the energy of that time. All right, I'm going to say, I think that both of them came out at a time when albums were albums. You know, like there was a really big appreciation for a good album, and both of them had that. So I think one of the reasons that people pit them up against each other a lot was because, or should I say pit them against each other a lot, was because most people had the fucking albums. So, you know, when you have a good album where you can listen to most of the songs, even if you can't listen to all of them, but the ones on the songs on the album are good enough to whereas you already are putting it in that classic category, even though they haven't been around a long time. You got something. I think that vocally, I think that people appreciated the fact that the singers could really sing. Like they weren't studio. These weren't studio singers. You understand what I mean? Like we in the 80s and definitely in the 90s there were a lot of studio singers. Boyz II Men could go a cappella. Jodeci went unplugged plenty of times. So you got to see like, oh, wait a minute, hold the fuck up. Oh. They sing. You know what I mean? Shirt on, shirt off, it doesn't matter. They're like, they really can do this. So because both of them could really do this, and both of them had iconic classic albums out the gate, we're talking about they were getting this comparison from the first album. And their albums came out at the same time, around the same time, 1991. But the thing is, well, I shouldn't get there. I'm not going to get there first. Well, no. Boyz II Men dropped their album first, and their album was getting more traction. Jodeci released their album, and it took a while. But once it got rolling, because on the A side of their album was all fast songs. So a lot of people thought that the album was maybe a C until they got to the B side where Forever My Lady, Stay, You and I, all of these slow songs and they love songs. And it was like, what the fuck? The album was like night and day. So once everybody discovered the B side, Jodeci really took off. I was in school at the time, Penn State. Yo, that Jodeci album was the fucking anthem of 1992. The album came out in 1991. So that lets you know what was going on. So both groups had 4 members. You know what I'm saying? So they were both quartets, and that the groups seem to both have like a cohesiveness, like they wanted the battle. You could feel the hunger with both groups, but you could see the difference in management and A&R direction with both groups. But I think that just made people, for some reason, compare them. Like Kim, you brought up Silk. Silk didn't come out until 1993. So Jodeci and Boyz II Men had already paved the way for groups like Shy and what's the other one? All of those other groups, Silk.
Yeah.
You said Shy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Silk, Shy, As all them boy groups that came afterwards, the ones that said, I can love you like this, I can give you the world. I forgot the name of that group. Shit, High Five.
Yeah.
A lot of groups. Also, you got to even go with Boyz II Men alone. It spawned the white groups.
Wait a minute. We going too far. Wait. You running too far. Wait. You stay here. We not there yet. Yeah, for those reasons and probably some other reasons, it just seemed to make sense that you would pit those groups against each other or compare the two. So let me see what the chat is saying about it. Let me see.
Wait a minute, time. I want you to go back and read what you wrote.
Wait a minute. All right, Carrie says they came out around the same time. The black community needed another Whispers versus Isley Brothers, Temptations versus everybody. Okay. Time says, son, I believe that's typical. Two black groups singing two types of music, and definitely not like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, who were doing the same type of damn music. Carrie says it was almost like Boyz II Men and Jodeci represented the identity crisis that our community was having at the time. That's a good take. Senorita Ramirez says Jodeci were good as well, but they dress more like thuggish to me, but still a good looking group, good vocals as well. Carrie said you have to think about that the era. Exactly. Let's see. Carla says Jodeci had you get down with the get down. Okay. See it. Senorita Ramirez says Jodeci, sorry. The name is spelled. Well, you know that phone ain't going. It ain't going. It ain't going to happen. It make you say joke. All right. Let me see. Both groups performed on MC Hammer's tour. Okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't see that. They didn't come up.
Time says my song by Jodeci was "Come and Talk to Me." Yeah, and the Superfest in NYC.
Time says that didn't come up in the search.
Well, no. Well, they performed separately on shows. MCM.
Okay.
They performed together.
Carrie says Boyz II Men barbershop quartet versus Jodeci, men harmonizing on the corner. Okay, good take. All right, they both came out in 1991. I believe Boyz II Men came out in April of 91 and Jodeci of May of 91. I know it was close. I remember it was close. 1991 was a hell of a summer. And because NWA Niggas for Life came out later on that summer. Woo, what an album. And let me see. Temptation. All right. What's up, Carrie Zilla? What's good? All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pin y'all down. You're going to have to make a hard decision. So for you, tell me which group wins and why.
So for me, it's gonna have to be Jodeci. And I'm going off the Kim in the 90s. Kim in the 90s would have to go with Jodeci because Kim in the 90s was a different Kim. And Jodeci fit her world. Plus, I got to meet him once in my cousin's church.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, briefly, because I didn't want to go to church. So, I didn't care who it was.
No church, Kim. Yo, sinning heathen.
And my cousin went to Pentecostal church, so that meant I had to definitely put on a skirt and take off jewelry. This was too much. And so by the time I got to
okay.
But they were more relatable to my life at the time. Not saying that I was living a thug life or nothing like that, but they were just more relatable to my life. So for me, I played their music a lot more than Boyz II Men. And I did like Boyz II Men to take away from them. But I played less of their full album, RCD, that I did with Jodeci. With Jodeci, I'm playing from beginning to end. I may skip twice, whereas with Boys to Men, I'm probably skipping 4 songs. Versus,
Even the A side with the fast songs.
hey, this is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
And um, my favorite song by Jodeci was "Get On Up." That was and it's one of my, now it's still one of my favorite songs I play. It was a motivation song for me. So it would just have to be Jodeci over Boyz II Men. And again, it's not that I didn't like Boyz II Men, but I played more Jodeci songs than Boyz II Men. And even now, if I'm playing 90s R&B or 90s rotation, I'm playing more Jodeci music now than I am Boyz II Men. If I'm looking for something I just want to feel nostalgia, I'm playing Jodeci more than I am Boyz II Men. So it would have to be Jodeci for me.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What would you consider their best song to be, both groups? If you had to narrow it down to one song, what would be their best song?
Ooh. Ooh. Jodeci, it would have to be Come and Talk to Me. Even the remix and the extended, all three. Bam, 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 bam.
Okay.
So Come and Talk to Me for Jodeci.
I can't front on that. Okay.
And for Boyz II Men, my all-time favorite, and I could play it in the summer, winter, spring, fall, was Let It Snow. But something about Let It Snow touches me. It just makes me all moody and soft and in the field. So,
Okay.
if I had to pick like Christmas, I'm playing that. Like November, I'm playing Let It Snow. Even though I hate the snow, I love that song. So for me, Let It Snow is very bad.
Okay. Troy?
Okay, my take would have to be the brothers from Philadelphia, Boyz II Men. I know them. I grew up with Nate, and I've seen them perform in person before they did their first television performance because they was practicing outside, and that's why I know Mike can sing pretty good. The fact that they're still together and they have longevity, and they kept themselves away from the drugs. You know what I mean? And was able to still stick it out even after the problem they went through with Mike. And now they developed some violence, conversations back and forth with Mike. When you sit back and you look at the group, it spawned so much stuff from Boyz II Men. Jodeci didn't really spawn a lot. A lot of groups didn't spawn from Jodeci, but a lot of groups spawned from Boyz II Men. And the music that they had out, was all about love music. Around that time, I always been about love music. I'm still into love music. You know what I mean? Fast music is fast music. That's when you go out. But when you within your old space, you want to hear something that's going to keep you calm, keep you mellow. You want to think about your woman or think about trying to find a woman. You know what I mean? So their music is not harsh. I still love Boyz II Men. If I put one, if Boyz II Men my 1A, Jodeci my 1A minus. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, yeah, Boyz II Men, their music is fulfilled. Now my favorite Boyz II Men song is what is my favorite Boyz II Men song is fucked up part about it is I'm doing just fine.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm Doing Just Fine is my favorite Boyz II Men song. That's just a favorite one because it deals with telling somebody that they believe in you or left you when you was going through your struggle, and then when you got on top. That's something I would say. Between that and On Bended Knees is my favorite Boyz II Men songs.
Only one.
Jodeci. And I want you to keep that in mind. Only one, too.
Nope, just one.
Gun to the head, like you told me all the time.
That's right. I already I got my one.
Yeah. And if I'm saying, can I choose one from Jodeci? That's my favorite Jodeci song.
No.
Okay. I take this call.
I mean, after all, you had to pick your winner and your favorite song from your winning group. So Boyz II Men is your winner, and your favorite song is I'm Doing Just Fine, right? Right?
We clicked over. We had a second call.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I struggle with this, but it has to be Jodeci because after I'm going to say this. My answer is definitely Jodeci. But the first album, I believe that Boyz II Men's album was way better than Jodeci's because I only listened to Jodeci's B side. I don't want to hear nothing they had on the first on the A side. Nothing, not one song. I didn't like any of those songs. Boyz II Men's first album was a really, really complete album. I think it showed a lot of their versatility. I think it showed a lot of their range. And Jodeci has songs that I play now. They easily go on my playlist. Like, and that's from each album. So, you know, when some Jodeci songs come on, like, I can listen to them shits. I don't feel compelled to skip. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with Boyz II Men, I can listen to that later. Mm-hmm. Even though, like I said, I think that you know the crazy thing about it? I think that Boyz II Men's first album was better than Jodeci's first album. But Boyz II Men's second album is the one that sold all the records. But I think that Diary of a Mad Band was way better. Like, there's nothing I want to listen to from Boyz II Men's second album. And that's just a fact. Like, you know, I'll Make Love to You. I don't want to hear that shit. I didn't really like it when it was out. When I heard how much, you know, how many records it was selling and all of that, I was like, oh, okay. But I started to see the shift. In my mind, it was about to be a wrap for Boyz II Men. Because I saw where the culture was going towards. And Boyz II Men, it was like it's like when Hammer you know, did Pumps in a Bump and It's All Good, you know, his gangster era. It was like, nah, dude, you can't do that. Like, nobody is checking for you even though those were hits for him, but it was like, come on, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Yeah, so Jodeci, their second album, which was the album that people consider to be their most underrated album or their album that wasn't so good. I thought that's probably my favorite album from them. So I think that for me, Jodeci kept trending up. They were getting better. And Boyz II Men seemed to have plateaued and they really couldn't do nothing for me. So here's the hard part. My favorite Jodeci song. God damn. Shit. Oh, man. Which album? It's been so long since I touched a lady, and I'm still waiting for you to come back to love. Now, will you forgive me for the wrong I've done? That's not my favorite song, though. I think if I had to choose, one of the songs that I run a lot, My Heart Belongs to You on the Diary of a Mad Band album. I think that's the first song off the Diary of a Mad Band album. My heart belongs to you. So I think I'm gonna go with that one, only because after this show, I don't have to keep that as my favorite. Because it was mad songs. It was mad songs on the show, the after party in the hotel album. I'm like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? Wait a minute, I need a minute. So yeah, I gotta go with Jodeci. I don't listen to a lot of Boyz II Men. After they second album, and I kept buying the albums. They didn't seem to have bangers no more. You know what I mean? They didn't have records that I would repeat. I just wanted to support Boyz II Men. And I do. I like them. I love them. I respect them. I know I've met them in person. I've been in the studio with them. They're nice guys. They're good guys. But it's Jodeci. I gotta go with what's on the tape. With what's on the tape. Huh? All right. So hold on.
You just wanted to support them. You wanted to keep supporting them, but it wasn't like you was like, "Ooh, they go in here and play this Boyz II Men."
Listen, when End of the Road comes on, I'm listening. But the other songs, I can wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I just like when I just like to hear Wanye. Oh my God. Oh my God. That motherfucker was in crisis. Like, oh shit. This nigga gonna die. And she'll come back to it. Somebody get an intervention on this motherfucker. It's a rap. Yo, Kim, I be playing that shit over that part over and over. This shit seems so sadistic to me. I'll be like, all right, do it again, Wanye. Oh my God. 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 Might be like, but you just won't come back to me, will you? Just come back to me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You know the time is out, so I just got to you do that.
Oh man. Woo-wee. Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. So what we got?
Well, you know, another thing too is, to me, that video in the desert.
Oh yeah. 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 All right, hold on.
Okay, now I was like, let me stop what I'm doing.
Hold on, we ain't done. Hold on. Let's go to the comments, see what who they chose. All right. Carrie says Jodeci because I still randomly desired it to hear their music at home, but especially in the car. Okay. Let me see. Tom says I'm going with the bad boys. Women love bad boys. No matter how good you are as a man, they're going to turn around and run to Jodeci. Come and talk to me. I really want to see you, your girl, and I really want to know your name. All right, cool. Carrie says even fiending. Though the first line of the song makes me sit my sons down, like don't listen to these niggas. All right. Hold on. Tom says, so you're having a baby that means so much to me. There's nothing more. Okay. All right. There's nothing in the world. Definitely. Okay. One of Jodeci's best songs, but come and talk to me. I really want to come on it. It's Jodeci for me. Okay. I feel a little biased there, Troy, but that's the same way. New edition. All right. Carrie Zilla talking about Prince. No, slow down. All right. Carrie Zilla says mine is Water Runs Dry by Boyz II Men. Okay. Let me see. Tom says my winner is Jodeci. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, that's consistent. My winner is Jodeci, and my favorite song is Come and Talk to Me because y'all are getting I'm technical now. Are we about to get technicaler? All right. Señorita Ramirez says Jodeci, Come and Talk to Me. My favorite. Don't forget Jodeci, Get On Up. All right. Let me see. Carrie says Finding Nemo. You know what? Y'all got to stop bringing up old shit. All right. Not MC Hammer, pumps and a bump. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Jay Bush says Johnny Taylor, Bobby Womack, the Gap Band, the Delphonics, the Whispers, the OJs, the Spinners, the Moments, Larry Graham, Al Green, Teddy Pendergrass. All right. I definitely don't support Bobby Brown humping around. What the hell was that, son? I believe that the cognac and there was the other kicking it at that time. All right. Medita McIntyre, God, my big sis. What's good? All right. So all right. This is all right. So since we have our favorite, okay. So what I want to ask now, wait, Troy ain't come back yet, right?
No, not yet. He's talking to his daughter.
He probably ain't coming back. All right. Okay. So now I want to talk about, since you have defined your winner, let's talk about why you think that the other group could win in the hearts of other people. Why do you your winner is your winner, but why do you feel like the other loser or the other winner in other people's hearts? Why do you think other people would choose them?
Well, of course, because again, Boyz II Men represent some nostalgia. They represent clean cut. They represent Boy Next Door. They represent gospel school, church. They represent that Motown harmony that a lot of us grew up on. A lot of our parents were playing. They represent a lot of things that definitely connect to Black culture. Plus, they represent that crossover feel. You know, other people were listening to them. They were topping the charts too. Like they didn't have anything bad to offer. So there's nothing that would say, well, they were this bad that's the reason why people wouldn't like them or something like that. They just were good no matter what. I just think it's a personal preference. only because both were great. Like both were great. They offer. So I think other people would just be attracted to their personal appeal of what they bring to them. Again, they were a wholesome group.
Yeah.
They showed up, they showed out, and did business, and they were never. They didn't present any controversy when it came to all the things that were going on at the time. You never really heard about them having issues, and they stayed together, connected as a group, and it looked good. It looked good for the culture, looked good for the community, it looked good that we have a band out here, and you're not hearing about them in drugs and violence and weapons charges and getting arrested by the police and fighting. And there was no negativity associated with them. So I think that's the reason why people would be like, choose them, because they just were a wholesome look at the culture at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They presented a different view, a different lifestyle. Plus, they didn't use profanity. They weren't vulgar. They're clean.
I ain't mad at nothing you said. I'm gonna say Boyz II Men could win because overall I feel like they did win. Highest selling group ever. And when you hear that they are the highest selling group ever, you don't even feel like they cheated to get it. A lot of times you look at TLC, you be like, them? Huh? You understand what I mean? Because I've never heard anybody say that TLC is their favorite female group. I've never heard anybody say that. But the record sales say otherwise. You understand what I mean? So with Boyz II Men, I think they had a versatility that Jodeci was either uninterested in or couldn't do. Boyz II Men could do songs like Mama, Mama, you know I love you. I don't really see Jodeci doing that. I'm not saying that they couldn't do it because I think that they could, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They didn't, and Boyz II Men did. So I think that Boyz II Men could be if you take that Mama song, if you take the End of the Road song, and let's take something from their first album that maybe okay. Yeah, if you take Motown Philly, but I think my favorite song by Boyz II Men on their first album was probably I'll give all my love to you. How'd it go? Please don't go away from me.
Oh, yeah.
My heart. I'll give all my love to you. My heart. That was my favorite song. I can't remember the name of it or the exact lyrics, but that was my favorite song off their first album. So, and I don't think that song was ever released as a single. But yeah, they could win because they had songs like that buried deep into their album that they had a lot of gems. Huh?
That's the name of it. Please Don't Go. I did like that.
Please Don't Go. Yeah, that was my favorite song on that album. I was like, I used to repeat that over and over and over. So that was a really, really good song. So yeah, that's why I think that Boyz II Men could win, and in the minds and maybe the hearts of the general public, they did win. In terms of sheer numbers, they won, Grammys and everything. And there aren't too many groups that do that where you don't be like, they shouldn't have won. When Boyz II Men, you're like, yeah, they really actually should have. You know what I mean? And even though Jodeci did songs with other groups, they didn't do it, or other acts, they didn't really do it like Boyz II Men did. Like that song that they did with Mariah Carey. What was it, One Sweet Day?
Mm-hmm.
They murdered it.
They did.
They fucking murdered that song. That was like, yeesh. You know what I'm saying? They murdered it. Man, one thing about Mariah Carey, she had a way of getting other groups to come in like, yo, come here, Escape. Come here, Boyz II Men. You know what I'm saying? We about to tear this shit down. So, like, you didn't see Jodeci doing that. You know what I mean? And I'm going to make this wild ass comparison. Years before there was a Jodeci of Boyz II Men in the hip hop realm, this battle that never happened that everybody wanted to see was between Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. And because we never got that battle, there was a lot of opinions about who would win if they did. But if you look at both acts individually, you look at Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane was more versatile than Rakim. As far as like, see, Big Daddy Kane did collabos, and Rakim didn't. He didn't do that. Now he did a song with Jody Watley, but that was it. You weren't going to find Big Daddy. I mean, you weren't going to find Rakim on another, rapping with another rapper. It never happened until there was no more Eric B and Rakim, and then he came back later when he wasn't as relevant anymore, and he did some collabs, but it wasn't the same. When they were both out, no, he didn't date Madonna. They just had sex. Tupac too. Oh damn! Now Troy called. Now I gotta undo this shit. Hold on a sec. Man, why did you hang up? I gotta undo everything in order to make this shit work.
Sorry about that, man.
All right, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. All right, we're gonna try it. We gonna try. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can make this happen one more again. Make this happen one more again. Please, Bluetooth guys, don't front on me. All right. They must have liked us tonight. We good. All right.
I seen you punching the air too.
Okay. All right. So Troy, we were talking about what the group that you didn't pick. What would be the reason that you think other people would choose them? Like, why did they win in other people's minds and hearts?
I think the most important thing is what you said, relatability. You know what I mean? And being more urban, having that urban feel to them. That you can sit back and say, that can be my nephew or my son or my cousin or my brother. You know what I mean? Whereas the Boyz II Men, you be like, they look like nerds. I don't think that can be family like that. I might have to whoop one of their asses.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're too proper, which is neither one of them was. But the way they conduct themselves, you know what I mean? Whereas though with Jodeci, you heard every negative thing on ET, MTV, news, everything. Boys and Men, you ain't hear shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You ain't heard nothing negative about Boys and Men.
Even him dating young ass Brandy.
There you go. Ain't that something? Broken hearted. You know? I mean, what the fuck? That never thought about that, did they? And nobody even bringing no R. Kelly allegations up against yet.
They wasn't far enough. They weren't far enough in age to do it.
Yeah. You know, but at the end
But they were close.
That's why I think people would choose Jodeci because, like you said, relatability. They can sing their asses off. They were more urban, which means they were more close to who we are as individuals. You know what I mean? You know, you can look at them as ours. With the Boys and Men, you can look at them as ours, but they was also part of everybody else.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Cool. Let's go to the comments. Tom says Boys and Men could win in the minds of other people because of love. Son, I believe people played Boys and Men at weddings and they represented love. I think you're right about that. And that's not I'm just gonna say yup. And Tom says the music represents love. Boys and Men music represents love and staying together forever. All right, cool. Carrie says Boys and Men will always be loved by the masses because they represent safe black men. That's also true. And he says, plus their record sales. Carrie says, exactly, son. Okay. All right. Tom says, I like that representing safe black men. Wow, that's a great analogy. Carrie said, Jodeci didn't want to. No, we will not be safe. Pass the crack. All right. Tom says, son, that's called heartfelt songs, mama. But KC and JoJo do a song called I Care About You from the movie soundtrack Soul Food. The group Milestone. Milestone?
Yep.
Okay.
Milestone.
Okay. All right.
Wasn't Jodeci, it was Milestone.
Okay. Carrie says, time Boys and Men has scorned women willing to take a chance with love again. Okay. Carrie Zilla says Boys and Men was marketed towards urban and suburban cultures. Interesting. Carrie says, me and Mariah go back like baby pictures and pacifiers. Right. Rest in peace, ODB. All right.
Well, can I just give you one more?
Wait. I'm not done. Hold on. Let me finish the comments first. All right. Sir Adam Kanowski says Big Daddy Kane literally dated Mariah. Oh, my bad. All right. Carrie Zilla says to win Grammy, artists have to be marketed towards the urban areas and suburban housewives. Okay. Tom says, Troy, young women have always been dating older guys from the beginning of time. Your grandfather is older than your grandmother.
You never said that about that. Oh, my fault. You talking about Brady.
All right. Kenneth Russell says, no, I haven't seen the Michael Jackson movie, and I'm not going to be honest with you. I'm not going to. Even when it come out on video, I'm probably not going to watch it. You know what I mean? Nothing personal, but fuck that. But, okay. So, wait. Sir Adam Nowski says New Edition was the first real boy band created. No, I think the Jackson 5 came before them. They were definitely a boy band. The Beatles might have.
They pretty much all the blueprint, somewhat of the blueprint of Jackson 5.
What?
And the reason why they put Ralph Tresvant at the beginning, made him the lead, was because he sounded like Michael in the beginning.
They were definitely going for the Jackson 5 feel. You know what I mean? They may not have had the look, but they dance steps and everything was very Jackson 5 and ish.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
All right.
very good.
So, okay, this is what I want to do next. All right. So let's talk individuals in the band. Like if you had to pit each member up against if you had to take one member from each group and say, all right, you battle his guy, and whoever wins comes out, wins for the group. What would you do? How would that work? So remember, both bands.
We're picking one member from each group to battle against the other.
You don't necessarily have to do it that way, but I want to talk about the individual strengths of each group. So if I did, tell you what, I'll go first so we can, so you can understand where I'm coming from. All right.
Okay.
All right. So if I said I'm going to take who I think is the strongest member from Boyz II Men and the strongest member from Jodeci, and I'm going to say both of y'all are going to represent your respective groups and battle it out. What would I say? So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to say overall, member for member, this group is definitely the winner or the loser. Okay. All right. So I would go with Wanye from Boyz II Men, and I would go with KC from Jodeci. Now, who wins in a battle between Wanye and KC? Ah, man. I'm gonna say that Wanye is going to win by a hair, but I do think he wins, and it's not because KC can't beat him, but I think that Wanye is a little more diverse, and I think that his ability, like both of them have showmanship. But I think Wanye's is a little bit more pointed, a little bit more focused and targeted. Because he's going to do the quivering lip shit. He going to do that shit. You know what I mean? And I think that he would probably. This is going to sound prejudiced. But I think that Wanye would probably know more songs than KC. And there's not a knock on his intelligence, but it just seems like I think Wanye would probably have done his homework. And I think he would take home a win for Boyz II Men. Individually, vocally, Boyz II Men have it. I don't think that. Well, we know that Mr. Dalvin doesn't sing at all, and Devontae is.
He sings, but he just doesn't sing.
Yeah, so he doesn't sing at all. He's the rapper of the group.
Oh well, if you listen, like I said, I'm not trying to get off the subject, but if you listen to Stay and you look at the video, Stay, he sings and Stay. When I looked at the video, I was like, there you go, I hear the voice.
Okay, sort of like Teddy Riley in Blackstreet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be long gone. What did Marley Marl? What Marley Marl say at the end of the song? I told you I could do it. All right, but hold on. Let me finish. You gonna get your chance. You got it. All right, but yeah, individually, just like Troy said, whether you talking about Mike, Sean, Wanye, or Nate, They all can blow. I don't think, well, Jodeci doesn't have the advantage of that. So I think as vocally head to head, I think that Boyz II Men is going to thrash Jodeci because it's going to be 2 against 4. So now you can go, Kim.
So I have to agree with you. My top would be Wanye versus KC.
Okay. Well, hold on. Do this for me then. All right. So if you took JoJo, who would you put JoJo against? You said Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Okay. So, like Wanye, there's no question he was the weapon for Boyz II Men. Like he has his range is strong and he's a strong vocalist. There's no question about it, hands down. So of course he's gonna represent for Boyz II Men because he's the powerhouse. And could he sing better than Casey? Possibly, yes. In a different kind of way. He could probably carry both groups because he's this powerful singer that there's no way around it. Like he had smooth transitions. He had like he was consistent. He was technically consistent. And he just had a lot of vocal control. And his runs were real clean and light. They were very melodic. Like
which one are you talking about?
Wanye.
Oh, okay.
Like his runs was very light. You could hear like the melody at the end, like a beat or something he sang.
Okay.
But that's not to take away from KC.
Right.
KC is very polished too when he sings. But KC made you feel like he meant every word he said when he sang. And he was gonna kick your ass if you didn't believe it. Like Casey made you feel like he sang from. I think he sang from pain. Right? I think a lot of times when people live the kind of life that he lived, there was some pain involved somewhere in his life at some point. And so, like we felt about Mary. We felt like she was a better singer when she was sad. And so I think he meant every note, every word that he sang because he was singing from some place. So it's not so much that he was better than Wanye, but he definitely was the best person to carry Jodeci, not taken away from anybody else, but he was the lead of Jodeci, but he was more believable than Wanye when he sang. Like, you felt it when he sang. I admired both guys. But for me, I just think Casey came with something else when he sang. Like, you wouldn't really, after he finished singing, you gonna sit there, friend, and be like, oh, okay, all right, man, it's gonna be all right. And while you're saying, you're like, hey, okay, hey, guy, okay. And it's not to make light of his work. But it's just with I could feel it when Casey, I felt it when Casey sang. And even his movement, like, it wasn't just like sex appeal. It was, man, I am torn apart right now. I'm going to cry for you because I love you so much. I'm going to rip my shirt off, get down on my knees in the sand. And I don't think it was just the video. I don't think it was just direction. I just think it was pure coming from his heart. He was very emotional when he sang. So that's the difference. He was more realistic to me. Not not to say Wanye wasn't, but I just think KC came with some. KC was the blues. Like if he had been around that time, he would have been there with Muddy Waters.
Mm.
He would have been what's the guy? Little Walter. He would have been Little Walter.
Okay.
KC is the blues. He was the 90s version of the blues. That's what he was. That's what his feel was. That's what he brought. The 90s version of blues. So it's more blues than he sang. And you almost felt bad for him a little bit. So.
Yeah, like when he passed out on stage.
No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about when he sang. I don't know about that. That other stuff. I don't feel sorry.
All right. Go ahead, Troy.
Well, I will put Wanye against KC. But the reason I will put Wanye against KC is that Wanye's vocals goes everywhere. You know what I mean? Wanye vocals, when Wanye sings, it doesn't have to be a high level, or he has a high level, a low level, and an in-between level when he sings. KC has when he sings low, you still wait. You already know he get ready to hit that ooh yeah and all that other stuff that he does. The riff, KC has a lot of riffs, where Wanye doesn't have a lot of riffs. He has a riff, and then he has a middle, and then he has a in between. You know, if I'm going to take anybody against JoJo, I'm taking Nate, Mr. Alexander Vanderpool, because I've seen Nate sing, so I know all these levels that he can do. And since Mike is not in the group, he's the bass now. So when they singing on stage and the bass parts come up, he's the one that's singing the mic parts, so he's doing the bass parts in the group. So not only can he sing low like Mike, he can also sing in the middle, and he can also sing high, and he has a falsetto.
Okay.
Sean is great. So Sean will kill the last two. You ain't even got to worry about that. Sean will kill both of them. Sean would also kill JoJo, but I'll take Nate first.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go to the chat. Let me see. Wait a minute. This is interesting. Let me see. That's a question. Why is it? Time says JoJo is the strongest of Jodeci. Interesting. And he also said there's no question Wanye is the lead in Boyz the Men, hands down. He says if you're talking about individually out of both groups, Wanye going to be really close with JoJo. Okay. Carrie says too many runs and neck wiggling, but I think that KC before the years of drugs would win. So all right. So she's saying that that KC would be Wanye. All right. Sir Adam Kanowski says Mr. Dalvin does sing. He just wasn't very good. LOL. All right. Dalvin holds his notes in his back pocket. Fuck out of here. All right. Miss Dante and Mr. Dalvin both sing if you watch them live. I mean, I'm sure they sing, but do they have what it takes to carry a song by themselves? Other than I wanna be long gone. All right, I'm just saying, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Okay, wait. Let me see. The Observer Melanin, what up? says KC has more hit singles than Wanye singing lead. Well, that would be true. I've never heard Wanye individually, like, you know, like solo. Let me see. And Carrie says, sir, that's how I know that Devontae and his brother are mediocre. Carrie says, KC had that old school singing gift with a hip hop visual. All right. Wanye doesn't have a falsetto. I'm not sure if that's true.
It's not true.
It's not true?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. All right. No, nobody supports the LGBT. Well, maybe some people support the LGBTQ in here, but I've never heard anybody openly do that. Okay. Observer Melanin says.
Do you support the LGBT?
I know, right? I'm being nice tonight. The Observer Melanin says Sean is a weak singer, and so is Nate. They don't have no weak members. Now I know that for a fact. Carrie says Sean isn't a weak singer at all, and he's not. All right, Observer Melanin says Sean vocals are weak compared to JoJo singing.
Now, Sean did do a solo song.
Yeah, he did. He did.
There was a movie with Richard Dreyfuss in it.
Okay. I remember he had a solo song. I do remember that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he killed that shit.
All right. Okay. So, okay. So, all right. How much time we got left? Okay, we winding down. So we can't really. All right, let's do this. Besides the record sales, which group do you think has the strongest had the strongest impact at the time when they were hot? Now, try to take the record sales out of it. So in this question, you can kind of invoke your own personal feelings or your personal surroundings, your region, your area, your friends. You know what I mean? Like, we was all sniffing coke at the time. And it was red tape. So, which group do you think had the biggest impact at the time? Devoid of, with record sales aside, which one do you think had the biggest impact?
Joseph.
Okay.
Joseph had the deeper cultural impact in real time. Right at that moment, Jodeci had the bigger impact, and it's not, again, let's take nothing away from Boyz II Men. I just think if we remove all that kind of stuff, Jodeci had a look. Everybody wanted their style, and I'm not just talking about men. Some of the girls wanted to come out in combat boots and baseball caps, just in a feminine way, in a sexy way.
Okay.
They changed how the tough men, like Troy spoke to earlier, how tough men handled themselves when they wanted love too. That made them feel comfortable to say, hey, I want you like me too. I like you. I need a little bit of affection as well. I want to be loved on too. And you could see the men kind of changing it. It made everybody want to have some swag at the time. It made them work a little harder to get it. And they just was coming with music that everybody liked. Again, it's not to say Boyz II Men didn't, but so when I said earlier about riding in the car, I'm talking about when I'm riding with a guy. Like I said, on a Sunday, we in love. I'm listening to Boyz II Men on my way to my mama's house. introduce them or something like that. But when I'm hanging, me and the people, my crew, all you hearing is everybody playing Jodeci. And if it's night on a weekend at a car show or whatever you want to call it, everybody's out with the cars, they playing Jodeci. They're not playing Boyz II Men at all. They're playing Jodeci on a Saturday night at midnight, doing wheelies and all, making eights and stuff in the parking lot, driving up and down the street and having, making the police come out. The police are now coming out to be on bended knee.
Oh, you know what?
Coming out to a bunch of grown kids, half-ass dressed to female.
So wait a minute, Kim. So in your city, drag racing is a thing, huh?
Unfortunately, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, the Indy 500 and all of that. For some reason, I just never really thought of that. But it makes total sense.
It's bad. They tearing up people's property, killing people. It's bad. It is. It ain't nothing to be proud of. But it is. And it went on in the 80s. It went on in the 90s, and they do that shit now.
You hear a lot of good things. You don't hear about the bad stuff coming from there because you're always talking about what Mike Epps is doing, is going back to his neighborhood and stuff.
Fuck Mike Epps. Don't bring him up.
Fuck him. Fuck Mike Epps.
Ain't on.
Mike Epps scored a straight.
God damn. Right to the dome.
He better be careful while he's showing out, because some people still got a little something on that nigga head, because he did some dirt back in the day. And he turned it into jokes. And all I hear is,
They'll know some things, son.
We gonna catch you. So I'm just saying. Anyway, but what nobody's playing, didn't nobody care about Motown Philly back then, during them times.
Okay.
That they were playing Jodeci more than anybody. I'm not saying they were never playing Boyz II Men, but if you want to compare who they played the most, it was Jodeci. We not walking into one of the stores that sells a bunch of urban clothes to no damn Boyz II Men. You go to Walmart and hear Boyz II Men or whatever, Target at the time. If you going into one of the spots where they're saying urban streetwear, you gonna hear Jodeci. If you pull up to the gas station, you gonna hear Jodeci. So, Jodeci. That's it. Hands down.
Okay. Well, mine would be Boyz II Men. And the reason why I chose Boyz II Men, and I love Jodeci, I choose Boyz II Men because, number one, of the longevity and who they came from, the circle of New Edition. Michael Bivins came and made them the little brothers of New Edition, pretty much. And then they spawned so many groups from their family tree. Not so much as groups from people out the group. You're talking about 98 Degrees, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, as yet, Drew Hill comes from Jodeci all day. We already know that. Because of, the lead singer and the reference between them two. But all these groups, and that's not even talking about them, not just, it's the song they did with Mariah Carey and other individuals that not even talking about record sales, that was just that high. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about being on the chart, that song broke the end of the rope song.
You said we were supposed to not include record sales.
That's not record stores. We talk about the charts. That's not record sales. That's the charts.
Okay.
What's the popular song? That was the most popular song at the time. And that right there, One Sweet Day broke because it was on the charts for 16, 17 weeks. It broke Boyz II Men song, End of the Road. So at the end of the day, I'm not being biased because they from Philly, because I love Casey and JoJo and them too. But I'm just going by what I've seen and what I've seen from Boyz II Men. You know?
They were definitely industry.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, they just, and they're big, and I'm just going to say this last thing, son. Their biggest knock, what knocked them down is 98 Degrees, NSYNC, and the Backstreet Boys. They stole their thunder. Because now you gave the other culture, the white culture, a bunch of white bands they can turn to. Because that's what took New Edition down a bunch, which is New Kids on the Block. Took some of their thunder. Do you feel some type of way about that, son? Just asking.
I remember the energy at the time when, you know, the new Kids on the Block was out, and I was pissed.
I was too.
I never looked at them as taking New Edition's thunder. I looked at them as, I guess that's the same thing as taking a thunder. They marketed them to the point. A lot of people on the other side didn't even know who New Edition was. And they had the same fucking manager.
Yeah.
And it was Maurice Starr. It's like
Maurice Starr. He the one.
So they had New Kids on the Block.
He called them the white New Edition.
They had New Kids on the Block dolls and shit like that. New Edition ain't had no shit like that. And fucking New Kids on the Block. They did. They had New Kids on the Block dolls. They marketing was A+.
Oh man, I wanted to fuck Maurice up.
That shit was just wrong. It was wrong. But
until this day, but New Kids on the Block, New Edition have toured together now.
Ain't that some shit?
Years, but they could have said them.
Mm-hmm. They probably both got jerked.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
we already know the New Edition got jerked in the beginning.
Yeah, but like even if New Kids on the Block got jerked, they had that worldwide acclaim. They got paid by some kind of way.
Yeah, that's true. Sure. And without that, you don't have. One of the boys came out. What's the name? One of them came out it turned out to be a good actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Wahlberg, Donnie Wahlberg. Donnie Wahlberg is an actor, and also spawned Marky Mark and a Funky Bunch.
I don't know, Carrie.
All right. So, all right, I'm going to say that. Okay. I have to give that the Boyz II Men for some of the reasons that Troy said. They groups that followed them wanted to be who they were. They wanted their success. They wanted but I would say that they had the greatest impact because they represented, as Jodeci did, but they represented something new. It was fresh, and it's not like they were doing something that was so impactful. They were really just singing, and you know, both groups got their shit off without dance steps. Neither group was all performance in that way. You know what I mean? They were not dancing their way through it, you know, adding that. They didn't need that filler. But I would have to say hold on, I might be wrong because a lot of groups wanted to be Jodeci too. They really did. And but I'm gonna have to say since I said that we could go local or whatever, yeah, I'm going to stick with Boyz II Men. It's hard. It's hard because I really see the benefit in Jodeci and their impact too. But I have to say Boyz II Men because people tried to be Boyz II Men without saying it. Like you knew when somebody was trying to be Jodeci. Boyz II Men, they made it a little bit more subtle. Like, no, we was doing the same thing. We just weren't out yet. And you know they lying. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah, because I mean, let's think about it. When Drew Hill came out with "Tell Me What You Want," if you didn't put a face to that, you would have damn sure thought that was a Jodeci song.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they admitted that they was going for the copycat. Like, fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, what's his name? Cisco could have very much been R. Kelly. After R. Kelly took Aaron Hall look and everything.
Mm.
He could have really had Cisco just been behind the scenes. He could have took KC's look. I mean, voice. I mean,
he did his best.
You know, and I'm not saying that people didn't. 112 didn't want to emulate Drew Hill. I mean, Jodeci, because when I seen the interview with 112 or the two members, they said they was emulating Boyz II Men. Because I just seen them on an interview with Sean on the Office podcast.
Did they say that? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because they seem to have their own thing to me.
Yeah. No, they said that they were always emulating Boyz II Men.
Okay.
Boyz was their focal point when they was doing their thing. And they come from the church as well, Counts. Deep in the church at that.
What did you say?
I said that the singers from 112 come from the church too. Deep in the church.
I know.
Yeah, so I mean they were emulating Boyz II Men because I just recently, like last week, so I seen the interview that they did with Sean from Boyz II Men off his podcast.
Okay.
So
yeah, I would say Boyz II Men had the biggest impact industry wise, and they both groups changed the game. I think that Boyz II Men changed the game a little bit more silently, but I think that they win the longevity battle.
Yeah.
And I can say that now because there aren't any new R&B groups.
And that's sad.
It's sad.
That's sad.
You know, we don't have R&B groups anymore, and we don't have heavyweight fighters. I mean,
I damn love this conversation.
when was the last time you watched a heavyweight title fight? When was the last time you watched a heavyweight title fight of any importance?
Well, listen, the name Wilder fights like you fight when you be fighting to win. He fights like you fight when you be fighting to win.
Okay, so let's go.
Did you see what? I can't wait for the read what T. Carey Wright said about 112.
All right, Observer Melanin said Boyz II Men didn't create their hits. Devontae did 90% of Jodeci's hits, not LaFace or Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Okay, I'll definitely give you that.
Devontae did it. And Mr. Devlin was a songwriter too.
Okay.
So that was it.
You and I with JoJo singing. The lead was phenomenal. All right. Let me see. Tom says, in the Richard Allen homes in Philadelphia, you was not hearing Motown Philly back again. Only if it's 1991. You would definitely hear Jodeci before Boyz II Men. Tell me I'm lying. That's not necessarily true. It's not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're lying.
That's not necessarily true. All right. Let me see. Maurice Starr was a genius, but he was also a thief, robbing those kids. Yeah. See, the Kids on the Block was a new addition for the suburbs. All right. Don't nobody want a mic from New Edition dial. Wait, a mic from New Edition dial with big jowls. Oh my fucking God. All right. Oh my God. I heard New Edition didn't even get paid for their first couple of albums. Sad if true. It's true. And it's sad. I don't think they got paid for their first 4 albums, though. Getting paid from their albums was just not what they did. You know what I mean? They got to go on the road. All right. Carrie says the biggest impact was Jodeci. I ain't mad at that. I'll give you a perfect example of a group that wanted to be Jodeci was Dru Hill. Yep. Let me see. Whose style did R&B groups mimic the most after both groups came out? Jodeci. That's who. But that I'm talking about in the long run. I think groups wanted to be Boyz II Men. I understand what you're saying, and I agree, but I think they wanted to be Boyz II Men ultimately because Boyz II Men never broke up, and their formula still works. All right, let me see. Melosi asks, was Motown Philly New Jack Swing? Absolutely. Oh my God, was it? I'm glad they didn't stick with that shit. All right, sir. Adam says other groups have sounded like Boyz II Men. 0 other groups could sound like Jodeci, even Dru Hill. Slow down, sir. Slow down. Observer says Jodeci for me, hands down. They had a big hit maker, Devontae Swing, Casey and JoJo. Singing in harmony was unmatched. Unmatched though? Y'all biased as hell. All right. Tom says Aaron Hall even stole his style from Charlie Wilson. So if R. Kelly stole from Aaron Hall stole from Charlie Wilson, the Gap Band, outstanding. Girl, you not. Okay, that's cat because 112 was singing about all kinds of nasty shit. When I reference 112, I'm talking about style and lyrics. Yeah, they were. You know what I mean? We can do it anywhere. This is my shit too. All right. I think with 112, their advantage is that they could do fast songs better than both Boyz II Men and Jodeci. They knew how to do that shit. All right. Sir Adam says, I'm always be Team Jodeci. Cool. From what I was told, 112 was inspired from Jodeci. Same time I'm going back to look up the interview. And from what I heard, Jagged Edge was inspired by Jodeci. I could see that.
Yeah, I could.
Mm-hmm. John says one thing, if y'all didn't know, Mike Bivins could really play basketball and he had mad handles. Great passenger. had a really good shot. People thought he was going to go into the league. Yeah, I mean, we know that New Edition could play some basketball. They was not fucking around when it came to that. All right. The show, the hotel, the after party album was phenomenal. I don't deny that. All right. So, okay. That complete we have completed our mission. Boys to Men versus Jodeci. I learned some things tonight.
What you learn?
I didn't really realize that that so many groups had credited, both groups for their development and their direction. I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I had no knowledge of that. I also learned the different reasons that people chose one group over the other and what their perspectives were. You know what I mean? Whenever you hear somebody say that such and such can sing and such can't sing, you know what I mean? That always shows me that what I hear is not necessarily what other people hear as far as appeal is concerned. So I learned a few things. I learned a few new things tonight, even if it was just from a perspective. So yeah. Yeah. So let's do the poll question.
What I learned is that Kim said, fuck Mike Epps.
Right? We learned that Mike Epps better watch his back in Indianapolis.
Watch his fucking back. Watch his fucking back.
We needed to know that.
Yes.
All right. Okay. The best R&B was in which era? All right. 38%, which is the highest percentage, says the 70s soul was the best. Wow. All right. 22%. This is out of 40 votes. 22% said 80s was untouchable. 30% said 90s is undisputed. And only 10% says 60s Motown and Stax conquers all. So ain't nobody fucking with the 60s. And I think that's a travesty. You know what I mean? That's a travesty, in my opinion, because the 60s had some shit. Huh?
What years do you think it was?
I'm gonna go with the 90s. I'm definitely going with the 90s.
Well, I'm gonna go. I went with the 70s.
I'm gonna go with the 90s because I understood the music better in the 90s, and it went with my lifestyle in the 90s.
Yeah. One of the reasons I chose the 90s was because the 90s had the full crossover. There was no more white music and black music. R&B you heard a lot of white people bumping R&B, and they knew who the singers were. That's a big difference from the 80s and the 70s and the 60s. So,
And the only reason why I say it was the 70s is because I think that's when I developed my ear for music, whether it's love music, rap music, and everything, from grandma, granddad, mom, dad, and mom and my grandparents and all of them doing their shit, playing that music. You develop the ear for music. So I think that ear travels through every other decade,
Yeah.
Well, the 70s, but I had a big time in the 70s, so music wasn't the same.
Yeah,
in the 90s, I didn't have no big time.
What I liked about the 80s and the 90s and every other time was I chose my music. In the 70s, I didn't get to choose my music. I had to, I could only hear what was bought or what was playing. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I had to listen to Don Ho because I didn't get to choose my music.
Don Ho, you poor girl. Now everything about you comes into focus now. I get it.
I always knew, but I always knew Don was a hoe.
No, it was Don. He was a very good gardener. Extreme. Like he was
Go ahead,
he was Farmer Brown worthy. All right, y'all. I want to thank y'all for coming through once again. I appreciate y'all participation, your knowledge, your perspective, your passion, your everything that y'all brought to the table tonight. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming through. Say y'all goodbye so I can do this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's your question?
You guys come to a podcast if I become a co-host on a new podcast about AI and other stuff? Would you guys come and listen?
Yeah.
What do you mean listen? What we don't get to see you?
I don't know how the setup is. I don't know if this is this guy's radio station. I don't know how the setup is. I just know we met for it yesterday, and I agreed to join it. And I even included being around the time of your show.
Okay. Yep. Then the answer is yes. Yes for me. And you can.
In the chat, you come and listen if I do this.
Hey, listen, when you get it, when you make your final decision, come through and plug it.
Can you give just do one curse word and then set my night off? I'll come look at it.
Fuck you, Troy.
I am not a vending machine.
Just one curse word.
Just come and put in $1 and get a cuss word. Now I'm gonna start charging you for them, Troy, if that's what we're doing. Let me send you my PayPal, my Zelle, then I'm gonna start charging your ass if that's what you think you need.
A good one, good curse word tonight. That's the night right with Joe's. One good curse word.
All right, cool.
But she's real gangster.
I am not. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe. If you are anywhere near a place where the temperatures are getting plummet, stay warm, because it's still cold in May and almost June. Have a good one, everyone.
All right.
Be blessed, be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to come on the chat tomorrow. The weekend, what is it? Go Getism or Urban
Therapy with Son.
Urban Therapy with Son to the 752. Love everybody. Much love to you, my brother. Holla at me. I gotta tell you something that's very important.
All right, got you.
That happened.
Okay.
Get with me.
All right.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious May 15th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Shannon Phillips, and also Derek Wallace Sr., Nancy Gregory, my man Jesse Dawson, we go way back, and Lafayette Williams, Sarah Ocott, my girl go-getter Leslie Harris, Lizanne Walcott, and Michaela Iris. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all, and I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious May 15th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, to rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, bring them down like he screamed timber. keep it going, flowing. Yo, I'm never stopping. I'm making sure that I'm acting like the beat and I'm dropping, I'm popping it off. Just like I'm hard and I'm soft. And yo, I'm young and I'm old and I'm crazy and bold. And I been told that I'm gonna be the best. And if the shit ever happens, yo, nonetheless, I'm gonna always be cool, the fool. I'm never gonna play. I'm gonna always be exactly the same way that I feel like. That doesn't mean that I won't grow, but you can always count on and believe in. Oh, my name is Omar. Arrogant man, arrogant rough. Should I say outstanding man, arrogant rough? Life is tough and bluffs get called. I know that I gotta be here standing tall. Y'all be on some other type shit and I be back because I can't be out there and can't see that. Just like a blind man, I stand on my own too, 10 toes down, yeah. And I know that I be on some other shit, yo. I'm rocking. Keep on rocking. So, all right. Yo, make sure y'all come through tomorrow, which is really today, 2 p.m. for the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. I was trying to see if I have a topic. And I think I do. Let me hold on. Nah. I'm going to come up with something fly. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. So make sure y'all come on through. Please hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I see that somebody said that they subscribed, and I really appreciate that. Who was that? Who said that? Who said that? Wait a minute. Okay, I got you, Observer Melanin. I got you on that. I think it was Sir Adam. Was it Sir Adam? If it was, whoever it was, good looking out, man. Good looking out. All right. Yo, hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Have a good night. Be safe out there. See y'all tomorrow at 2. And if I don't, I see y'all on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I holla. Peace, y'all. All right. Oh, before I go, thank each and every one of you for coming through and making this show fun, funny, enjoyable, and a hellified experience on a regular basis. Thank you. All right.